Hello, fans of Let's Be Real podcast. Welcome to another episode of the Let's Be Real preview. Today, we're going to be previewing the game against Athletic Bilbao uh, in the Spanish La Liga. And to do all that, I'm joined today by Sid. But before we get into anything, let's just do some housekeeping and shout out the sponsors of today's episode, Manscaped. For all your male grooming items, you can find on Manscaped, and to support the channel, also get some discount. You can get 20% discount by using the code LBR20 at the checkout. Again, I repeat myself, LBR20 to get 20% discount at the checkout. And again, we are part of the Talksport Fan Network, so you can find the link to the description of that down below in the. You can find the links to all that down below in the description, as well as Fanatics as well. It's important to mention Fanatics as well, also sponsoring the episode, and you can find all sporting apparels, not just Real Madrid related, but all through sports ranging from football to soccer to tennis to so on and so forth, American football and that. So yeah, you can find all of that in the description below. And without further ado, let's get into the deets of the thing. So we play Athletic Bilbao March 32, which means after this game we have 8 games left. Oh, sorry, 6 games left in the league. Currently 4 points behind. And to join me, and discuss all things Real Madrid related, I think we're going to talk more about Real Madrid than Athletic Bilbao today. But anyways, we have the man from Madrid himself, the superstar now. He met with Don Robbie, and now he thinks he's better than us. How are you doing, Zee?
No, I don't think I'm good. I'm good. I'm not. I don't think I'm better than you guys. But yeah, I have him on. I have Don Robbie on my WhatsApp, so that's a big flex, I can say.
Exactly, man. I mean, the point is like, when you look at your resume now, it's like you've been featured on the BBC. You've met with Alex Kirkland, you've met with Sid Lowe, you've met with, I forgot the name of the guy from Real Madrid. Anyways, you know the guy I'm talking about. You've met with Don Robbie, and it's been quite a journey. So like, yeah, as I said, like if I were you, I'll be like, okay, yeah, you guys are peasants, all hail, King Farouk, and yeah, it is what it is. But you're more humble than I am, so that's good for us.
Step by step, off camera, I can show off.
Anyways, man, so like just tell us, like, we're still reeling off of the shambolic game against Arsenal, the whole 5-1 aggregate thingy. So like tell us what's the feeling like, what's happening, in the whole, like, as Madrid fans based in Madrid, like what are you guys feeling? What's the vibe like around?
Especially, so I'll start with what happened after the full-time whistle at the Bernabeu. There's a lot of angst because the manner of the defeat was very painful. 5-1 on aggregate. And the whole talk of a comeback, remontada, Dani Ceballos posting on social media, Jude Bellingham in the press conference saying remontada is the most used word, and then Vinny posting on Instagram tomorrow at 9 p.m., blah, blah, blah. Man, usually seen a lot of comebacks, but the talk of a comeback was not that intense. And then when you talk so much and then you don't follow it up, that is the most, say, concerning part. But I think after the anger, a lot of fans also saw it coming, like there was a hope, but realistic fans were also on that zone that we can't score four against Arsenal. I think the last time Arsenal conceded four was like 2 seasons back or something, 500 days back. The last time they conceded 3 goals was against Luton in a 4-3 victory, December 2023. So they don't concede. And obviously, the whole heritage and everything, that ambience, we could score four, we could score five. But realistic fans, and if you have followed the club this season, I think apart from Man City, we haven't convincingly beat any big club. Like if you see the top four in La Liga, we have struggled. The derbies were a draw. Both derbies in La Liga were draw. Champions League, a double touch is what made us qualify. In Barcelona, it's 9-2 on aggregate if you can see the Super Cup. Bilbao, we lost. And a lot of fans are angry. There was seeking change in mindset. I think the fans have been very like hopeful with Kylian Mbappe coming in when you sign the best player in the world. But after this 1 hour of angst, when the beers started to calm down, people were like, okay, we have won a lot. 15 Champions League titles. We won two in the last 4 seasons. It can happen. The only thing that was concerning was there was no fight that was shown. Like one goal that we scored across the whole tie was an error because Saliba was complacent. So people wanted to see more intent. They wanted to see more force. If you remember, I mentioned this on the AFTV preview also, that in 2012, when we were playing Bayern and we were 2-1 down in the first leg in Mourinho's Real Madrid, we scored twice in the first 20 minutes. Ronaldo scored twice, Ozil assisted, and the intensity with which we played was so high. And we lost the tie. We lost the tie. We didn't go through. But there was so much that like the fans saw, the effort, the intensity, the intent that, we wanted to win. And when you try and you don't win, it's fine. But there was this lack of effort that was seen, and there was anger. But now I think it has calmed down. Like the whole focus has shifted to next season.
Which also,
You're muted.
sorry, you bring up a very important point, which also I think I would also reiterate is the fact that we see a lot of social media posts, we see a lot of discussions, but can we now comfortably say that we're in the era where a lot of players talk more than they do? Because as you said, like I do remember like the game against Wolfsburg, the game against, as you were mentioning, like the game against Bayern Munich, even the game against Borussia Dortmund, where we also did not qualify. Those are two games, the games against the two German teams, Borussia Dortmund, Bayern Munich. This were a game that you feel comfortable going out because why you know that okay, these guys have done all they could. These guys have done all that they could to actually take us through. We were one goal away from going through against Borussia Dortmund. We put everything on the table in the game against what's it called in the game against Bayern Munich. Like that's the best team in my opinion to never win the Champions League, and they lost just on penalties. There was literally nothing we could have done. We just lost on penalties. You understand? And it was penalties a toss of a coin, But that day it was the best penalty takers that missed Alonso, Cristiano, Ramos. Like these are, I think even Kaka missed. I can't remember. I think Kaka missed as well.
Yeah, Ronaldo, Kaká, Ramos. Alonso was the only one who scored, I think.
Alonso was the only, so like that's you look at this and like these are players that like 99 out of 99 they score the pens, or at 99 out of 100 they score. You understand? So what I'm trying to point to now is that we're in the era whereby you have players like Jude, like Vini, like Kylian Mbappe, who are all about the talk. You understand? When it comes to walking the walk, they can't walk this walk. Because the point is, I've said this, like for me, the two players that I will never fault in my life, that I at least thought I will never fault, is Fede and Jude. Because no matter what happens, you can never fault the effort. But bro, when I sit here and tell you that I did not know who that was very number 8, bro. I swear to God, I did not know
Man,
who it was. Let's even forget about Jude.
man.
Jude maybe yeah, different caliber, but bro, like at least Fede is the one that personifies effort. He's the one that personifies, determination, grit, never say never. But here we are. We don't even know who the number 8 was. So the point I'm trying to make here is that it seems like there's been a lot of noise because even I was speaking to an Arsenal fan. I forgot his name, on Gunnerverse, James actually, and he was saying like he's not a follower of Real Madrid, but like he seems like the noise around Real Madrid with the whole press, the media, the players commenting, making posts. It seems like it's very strange for him, like like thinking like a club like Real Madrid, like do they actually need all of this to actually make a comeback?
Man, man, what pissed me off, like in what you're saying, remember, so the Real Madrid social media admin posted this reel. I don't know if you saw it, which says, "Hi, Chat GPT, translate the word remontada in as many different languages as you can." And he posted a reel, and I know who the admin is. This is why I'm saying this. And I know whose idea it was, you know? It was and I was just like, till last year, Real Madrid was known as there are two clubs people say with respect to social media, whatever wars that happen, they are very elegant. They don't get involved. It's United and Real Madrid. Real Madrid were the peak of elegancy. I think that elegancy was converted into swag, like men became boys rather than the other way around. And I was like, I think this is too much. And when I was on the way to the Bernabeu, and a friend of mine texted me like excited, I was like, Excited? No, because the noise usually does not happen that much. Like it's too much noise. If you see the Spanish newspapers and their headlines, and like Vinny ready to eat Arsenal, Mbappe ready to take revenge, and I was just like, do you guys actually see what Arsenal do? Even I was hopeful. I went on AFTV and said, we'll make a couple. But inside, off camera, I told them, on camera, I have to be hopeful. But inside, I was literally like, I don't think this is happening. And I think they were carried away by the noise. And if you remember when Thibaut Courtois came out, he said in the press conference, which is, I think, the most realistic thing possible. First, he said, we missed Oselu, which is true because when you have an arsenal of players who can change the game coming from the bench, we need players like that who can be an aerial threat, who can be like, poachers, one here, one movement here, score. Second, he said, we need to play some football to the center of the pitch. We can't expect players to just individually make a difference in a tie like this. And which is very fair play, man. Like Thibaut Courtois is known for being as direct as possible. If it was an dig intended at Carlo Ancelotti and his team, fair criticism, man. But I think the players also need to realize, like sometimes. See, for example, there was this video where Karim Benzema, when we went 2-0 down against Man City, there is this video. He's like, calm down, breathe, concentrate, calm. The whole 60 minutes is left. We lost the game 4-3 or 5-3? 4-3, I think, 4-3. And then the whole Rodrigo thing happened at the Bernabeu. But that leadership, like, and if you think like, and there was another statement that one of these fans told me. He said, Vinny and Mbappe are trying to be Cristiano Ronaldo, where one of them has to be Karim Benzema, you know? And like if Ronaldo says, I'm going to score a hat trick and take the team through, Benzema knew that his job is to give that ball to Ronaldo who's going to do it. Benzema won't be like, no, it's not going to be him, it's going to be me. And I think as a whole, all and when I spoke to fans outside the Bernabeu, there's one thing which is very common: said you were not realistic if you didn't see this coming. Like, and players, I think they spoke too much now, and none of these players came out and spoke to the media. It was Ancelotti and Thibaut Courtois. Thibaut Courtois was the only saving grace in the whole two legs. So what can you say?
Yeah, actually, that's a very good shot, man. I'm just gonna bring back some of the things you said. Like I want to touch on 2 points because I know like the second one is about Carlo, and I know how strongly you feel about Carlo. And but let's start firstly with the comment on Joselu. Or rather, let's start with the comment on like having two Cristianos and no Benzema in the team. But like, how do you see how would you approach it? Because now the point is that with the situation we had with Cristiano and Benzema was like everyone who knew the Alpha was. It was obvious that okay, Cristiano is the top dog. There is no doubt. Cristiano was a Ballon d'Or winner who came to Real Madrid, and at that point was a savior for our team. We cannot deny this. Real Madrid is a big club, but when Cristiano came, we needed Cristiano more than Cristiano needed us at that point. Because we were like, how many? I think it was at that point, it was like 8 seasons in a row. We were getting knocked out of the round of 16. We couldn't even jack it. You understand? So the point is that Cristiano, of course, together with Mourinho as well, helps to transform, help to go over that mental block. So this is just the reality of things. But then now Kylian Mbappe is joining a team that's won 2 Champions Leagues in 3 years. He's coming off of the back that, this guy has choked in the Champions League over and over again. Of course, he's a World Cup winner. Of course, he scored a hat-trick in the final of the World Cup as well. So all of this are there on his resume. But when it comes to club football, in European club football, he hasn't done jack shit. So he joins this team now. And then now we are looking, who is the alpha between Vinicius and Kylian Mbappe? Hence the reason why the comment about you having two Cristianos. So like, what do you think? How do we go? Because I think until and unless we solve this problem, because even when Barcelona had MSN, they had a hierarchy to it. The BBC had a hierarchy to it. Whatever you have, even when Liverpool had Salah, Firmino, and Mane, they had a hierarchy to it. You understand? So like, how do you think we go forward from here then?
Man, I think, in my opinion, first of all, I think I'll start with the Carlo Ancelotti. I'm a huge, how much I like Carlo and respect him. And I thought he would be the only manager who could do this, but I think he's got it wrong. this season. Like he hasn't been able to find a system where all three of them could thrive. And I think the challenge to where you have a double winning season with a new setup in a diamond, Jude as a false number nine kind of a situation, Vinny having one of the best seasons of his career. And when you see the challenge of changing the system to sign Kylian Mbappe, like it's come on, do you either not sign Kylian Mbappe or you like risk it to have a system where I have Kylian Mbappe and find a new system? And I think he could not live up to the challenge. Like I think it was I think it's still one of the biggest challenges for the coach who's gonna come in. I think Carlo is gone. I think personally, I don't see Copa del Rey saving him. Now, I think we need a coach that is gonna manage these guys. We need like a personality who's respected by Mbappe and Vinny way too much. It's either somebody like a Zidane or like a Mourinho. Like I am not a huge Klopp fan in with respect to the names I'm hearing. I don't see Xabi Alonso ready enough
Okay,
to
okay.
do
See, before
this.
we're gonna get there, we're gonna get there. I have some questions to pose to you about the manager. But before we get to the manager, like let's just round this up about the players though. Thibaut Courtois brought up a very important point about the fact that the profile, what Joselu offered to us last year, and the impact Joselu offered to us last year. Then it goes back to the comment about the fact that can you actually play without a focal point? Can you play without a number nine? So now, where do you see this front three? Would you rather sacrifice one of them to get a proper nine? You talk about the likes of, okay, Erling Haaland is not joining. We know that. It's done. You understand? Haaland is not joining. But you have players like Alec Isak. You have, okay, this is going to be PR, but you have like players like Victor Osimhen, doing their thing. You have, to some extent, some other B caliber strikers like Gurasi from Dortmund. You have like Gyökeres from Sporting. You have some B level strikers that are out there that can do something. But like, do you think for this to work, we need to go back to that traditional forward?
I think I don't think to work. See, if we get another player, then definitely one out of the three will go down. Rodrigo, Vinny, or Mbappe, one of them gets benched. So the probability of that is Rodrigo getting benched if we get a proper number nine. I think we need a striker who's like early 30s and can score goals when comes on from the bench after the 70th, 75th minute. I say this because we need somebody who's experienced, somebody who knows to score goals under pressure. Probably somebody like, say, a Borja Iglesias. I'm just throwing a name around. Somebody who's like early 30s. I don't expect that striker to play 90 minutes every game with Mbappe. That is not. Vini, Rodrigo, and Mbappe, they are not going to get benched, whoever comes in.
I don't want him to throw the
Until
name.
unless you.
I don't know, Gerard Moreno, like, well, I think Gerard Moreno will not leave Villarreal, but like, I think he's a player that could be as well. And also, I think because
Yeah,
also
yeah. It's something.
Moreno's link up play is superb as well. Moreno's link up play is superb, and I think he's also 30 something. And also, but the issue is that he's very injury prone as well. So I think this might be a problem. But like Moreno
Yeah,
actually
yeah.
would
Somebody.
be a good shout. Yeah.
Yeah, like somebody like this, so that it can offer you two things. First, goals in the box when the crosses come in. Second, a link-up play, which I think is non-existent if Kylian Mbappe or Vinny plays as a center forward. For that, Rodrigo has to be playing as a number 10 or a Jude has to be playing as a number 10. So I think we need signings, man. I think we need signings for the squad. And then we need a manager who can make either Mbappe or Vini understand that somebody has to be Sadio Mane and somebody has to be Bobby Firmino for a Mo Salah.
But then,
Like
like,
you, somebody has to.
so you talk about like the signings, like what positions? Because you said like you need signings for the squad, you need the manager. Okay, forget about the manager for now. But looking at this team, looking at the squad, like what are the positions you think are problematic? What do you think we need to sign?
First of all, we need two right backs. Now, if Dani Carvajal comes in, we get Trent Alexander-Arnold. I think we are safe. And Real Madrid have always been. They are signing players who can play at multiple positions. I don't think Trent solves the job. But you get a right back. Now, in midfield, I think we need a little more squad depth with respect to people who can pass the ball. I think Dani Ceballos was missed like thoroughly against Arsenal, man. I think if Dani Ceballos plays, there would have been a small difference. I think probably, like, I'm not saying it would have been we would have beaten then or something, but probably the game would have been different. And then a striker who can be a bench player come on and get some goals. Somebody like an Ole Gunnar Solskjaer kind of a striker, where off the bench is going to give you strength. I'm not saying Endrick does not, but I think there's too much pressure on Endrick to do that, and he's not the most physical person. So till the time Enrique is experienced, say 2, 3 more seasons, need somebody like a Joselu kind of a presence, so that it gives you more options from the bench. Like the options from the bench we were again like relying on pace and individual ability. Brahim, same thing. Enrique in a way is also the same. Like you were expecting him to, have that outburst, but at least 3, 4 squad to make the squad better, like I'm saying in that zone. Where because Kamavinga, Chouameni were also not consistent this season. I don't even know what our midfield three was this season, to be honest. Fede has to come back in midfield so that we have a proper right back. I think Trent also can play midfield when, say, Carvajal is fit. So, and also you need like what Thibaut Courtois said, right? You need a setup where there are patterns of play consistently through the center of the pitch. You can't be like Vinny, dribble past, put in a cross, and Mbappe head in, or Rodrigo dribble past. That is
Wow,
like literally wingers and inshallah. That does not work, man. There's
bro,
Saliba
bro.
and Kivior.
I've said this, man. I know I said this to you as well a lot of times, see. Then I told you that we needed this. And you were saying to me that Carlo is whatever, this is not this, this is that. Carlo is the second coming of Jesus Christ, and he's gonna turn water into wine and shit like that. And here we are. See, the point is this, okay, before we get to Carlo, I just want to round up on the player as well. Personally, for me, I feel like we seem to have a lot of players, see, but I still think the squad still needs major surgery. For me personally, I get one center back, one starting center back, not a squad depth player. Militao has two ACLs. You don't know what he's going to be. David Alaba is 33. We don't know what he's going to be. Rudiger is, I think, 32, old. Asensio has been good, but I think Asensio is just going to be for now a squad option, not a first team player. Not like the first 11 player. He's a squad option. He's a first team player, but not a first 11 option. For me, the left backs are zero. Bro, did you get a chance to watch PSG against Aston Villa?
Yeah, yeah, I did.
Did you see what
Nuno
Marty
Mendes.
Cash, Lucas Digne, Nuno Mendes, and Hakimi were doing? The reason why I start by mentioning Marty Cash, Digne is that you talk about Mendes and Hakimi, world class players. But is Marty Cash, Lucas Digne, are they world class players? You
No.
see what they offered to their team, bro. And then here we are talking about Frank Garcia and Ferland Mendy. Holy God, bro. In
Man,
my opinion, the left backs, you saw even what Miles Kelly offered to Arsenal.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Timber
Man, and
was really, it's crazy. I think we need a left back. We need a starting center back. And we need one midfield depth. I think Fede Valverde, Jude Bellingham, and either Chouameni or Camavinga is good. But as you said, we need that different profile, which is a ball carrier, or rather a ball distributor, or someone that can recycle possession, Dani Ceballos. If Ceballos stays, I think it's fine. We can continue with what we are in the midfield. But up front, bro, I'm at the point where we have to break this front three, throw it in the trash. One of them has to go. And if you ask me right now, maybe I'm being sensational, but Vinicius has to go. Vinicius is the one that has to go. Play Kylian Mbappe, Rodrigo, and find a number 9 through the middle. I love him more than any of this front three. But one thing I've understood is that he's the greatest plus and he's the greatest minus that we have. Vini at his peak means that we win the UCL. But Vini doesn't have an in between. He has just the highest or the lowest. And the point is that when Vini is not at that high, he's always a negative. But at least I can see here too that, okay, Kylian Mbappe is not at that high. He has 33 goals. Rodrigo is not at that high. I know what he offers to the team structurally. But then what does Vinicius give you? It's either high or
yellow
absolute.
cards.
Exactly. And also, God, bro, I don't know, man. This team this season was crazy. Carlo was suspended. the next game, or rather, the game before Jude was suspended. The game after Vinicius will be suspended. The one after Camavinga will be suspended. And then it's like we are doing addition by subtraction. When Jude comes back, Camavinga is out. When Camavinga comes back, Chouameni is out. When Chouameni comes back, Vini is out. When Vini comes back, Carlo is suspended. Like, what the hell are we doing with this team, man? And you know the thing
Mm,
about this Sid, is that when you get the suspensions based on the footballing aspect, I am fine with that. It's football. You can throw in tackles. You can be mad. I'm cool. Vini gets suspended. Why? Because he talks. Jude gets suspended. Why? Because he talks. Mbappe gets suspended. Why? Carlo gets
He
suspended. Why?
kicks.
You know? So these are the things. You look at all this profile and you're seeing that, like, what the hell is going on? Like, why? We come from where to where? The lack of discipline, the lack of leadership, as you talked about. We considered two at the Etihad in 30 minutes. Benzema told them, bro, tranquilo, we still got this. We've got this. We've got this. But here, the point is that people are going and posting on social media, and then where are they? Create one clear-cut chance. None. None.
No?
None.
Mm. When I think the only shot on target also we had was because Saliba was like, yeah, you guys should score. 5-0 is too much. Like, I don't know, man. And I think you're right to criticize Vinny in like every way, man. I think out of the front three, if somebody has to see, Mbappe won't go after a season. Rodrigo is more of a team player. And you're not the first one who's saying that Vinny should be out. And I don't know, man. Like, I think it's going to be a difficult call for Florentino Perez and the team. To find a suitor for Vinny Jr. is also going to be difficult. Like, I don't think there is any player any team which is looking for big team which is looking for a proper left winger right now. And who
Man
could
City.
also manage Vinny Jr.
Man City.
Man City. You
Yeah.
think Pep can manage Vinny Jr.? I don't think so. He's going to make him like Grealish. Do you think like Vinny is going to lose all his flair? Like, I don't know, man. This is what I said initially. Like the whole challenge of like there were some moments against City where Vinny and Mbappe were combining. Vinny was trying the Trivela pass, and Mbappe was getting it. They had their 1-2s, but they were like very sporadic throughout some parts in some games. We never got to see a proper connection, and this was the whole challenge, man. Like 2 seasons back, when he was a left winger. Last season, he was an inverted forward. Now he's back as a left winger. Kylian is playing as a number 9 for the first time in a season consistently. I don't know, man. Like the whole challenge imposed by the board was, I think too much for any manager. I think until unless you have somebody who's gonna be like, I thought Carlo could do it, but he could not, man. I think it just and then the whole criticism of Carlo, man. David Alaba was playing left back. Man, I did like if you have Fran Garcia who's starting, like I have a proper some common sense, man. A guy who's a proper left back. I'd say Alaba has experience playing left back and do it. But he's not been playing like 3 games in a row. And you're like telling him to stop Saka, who was probably the best forward over the 2 legs in the 2 matches, man. Like he was
That
fouled
that
twice
that
to
tells you that whatever Fran Garcia is doing in training is horseshit. If David Alaba has to come back
yeah,
from an ACL and start basically out of position.
yeah, it's no, but
Ah,
like but
yeah,
Fran Garcia was like he was getting some momentum in the last few league games, if you see.
true.
And I would rather say like if you start Lucas Vasquez as right back, I have no problem starting Fran Garcia as left back over David Alaba. Like at least in the first leg, the whole first leg was a 4-4-2 setup that he went for. And I don't know, like, was he trying like Man City where he wanted like proper like 4 center backs or 3 center backs? I have no clue. Like there was no tactics at all. And like it's usually not there. Like last season also against Bayern, they were making those inverted runs in between center defenders as Cruz was spotting. If not, Joselu came in. There's something that we saw. But against Arsenal, it was nothing. Like it was shocking. Like also like Carlos should be thinking, what have I did? Like was he like sipping a beer before like like giving tactical instructions. He was like, nah, two step overs and we're gonna curl it over David Raya. Does not happen like that. Like it's I don't know, it was just shambolic. It's gonna be I think the conversation would go on for very long on this, but it's a huge like it's a very important transfer window coming in for Real Madrid, and I don't even know what Florentino Perez and people have in mind. The names I'm hearing that Klopp is ready to negotiate. Uh, Xavi Alonso, I still am not convinced by these two. Like Klopp won one league title in 10 years, one Champions League title in 10 years, man. And he's the worst left wing guy you'll ever meet. Real Madrid is a proper, I think, is a still pro right wing club.
I don't
Um,
think I think the match between Klopp and Real Madrid doesn't exist. I actually love Klopp a lot, but I do think the match does not exist. I think it's going to be a very difficult one,
yeah, it's
even if
Klopp. I see more of a yeah, Klopp is more of a Barcelona manager. If I see like with respect to the club, the city, it's very important for him. Or an Atleti manager where passion over winning, where passion is way more important than sometimes winning. I don't know, man. I think the board will make a decision. I think as we know how Florentino Perez functions, I think the board will decide on a new manager very soon. I think Carlo is done. But if you look at what, say, even Atleti have a proper team right now. They didn't win, but they were very unlucky.
I mean, the
Um,
point is like
Barcel,
I was discussing this with my brother, and he was saying like Atletico Madrid has to be this season's Atletico Madrid has to be the best team ever to finish third in the league, because like they got so unfortunate that all of a sudden Barcelona is playing like I don't know some another level. They got knocked out of two competitions by Real Madrid. You understand? So it's like, what else can they do? And honestly, I genuinely believe that if Atletico were in the Premier League, they would have won the EPL at the canter, bro. And if they had met any
yeah,
other team other than Real Madrid and Barcelona, they would have progressed to the final of the UCL as well. It's a very good team that Simeone had, but it's just unfortunate. But the point is, see, now I want to come back because now I feel like it's the right time to cash all my checks, bro. I remember, bro, many times you have told me, "Oh, you're disrespecting Carlo. Put respect to the guys and do this and do that, bro." What's happened now?
see, that is what I'm saying. He got this man. If you remove this season, say 6 months, still this three Champions League, two La Liga titles, two Copa del Rey over two spells. So he got the result, and obviously, see, the first season when he came back, Benzema and Rini, the whole challenge where we had two new centre backs in Alaba and Militao, and he went on to win the double. It's not like he has not done things. There is a reason why he was chosen by Florentino Perez and team to be the manager for the challenge. There is no other manager who's going to make you win the double if you remove Varane and Ramos out, and then you have two youngsters in, like Alaba and Militao in, two new players, and then okay, go. This is your centre back pairing. Now go do whatever you want. He wins the Champions League. Next season he has a down. Comes back again. Benzema is out. Jude is in. He incorporates Jude. Wins the Champions League and La Liga. And to be honest, if you see history also, 120 plus years history, Real Madrid have never been known for the style of play. It's always been winning. Like I
I
had this
agree. There
discussion
is
like
no
a
issue
month,
with this. But okay, tell me
but
this. Across the last 36 months, is there any phase that Real Madrid was the best team in Europe? Is there a phase? Not Champions League winners, of course, like you can be Champions League winners, it's fine. Is there a best? Is there we went into games against Man City four times, and four times we were the underdogs. Four times. And four times we were the underdogs. Barcelona has scored four passes four times in the past since Carlo came here. Four times. Bro,
when
I don't know what's his even Pellegrini's era wasn't this bad when it comes to playing Barcelona.
yeah, Barcelona, like if you see that second season, right, where when he came
How
back,
many
we
okay,
did have a
forget
good.
Barcelona. Forget Barcelona. How many times have we defeated Atletico Madrid?
Yeah, man, Atleti, that's a different story. See, I do agree to that. And I think Atleti has always been Carlos, what do I say, like a kryptonite kind of a feel. And
Okay,
but
Barcelona
see,
is
if you
his
say
kryptonite. Athletic is the big kryptonite. He plays Liverpool, it's his kryptonite. All the big teams
but
he
he
plays,
wins
even
Champions
quiet.
League titles.
I agree with you. I'm not denying it, and I've always said this. Like if you're talking about just winning the trophies, Carlo has done phenomenally. I can never argue about this. But what I'm saying is that what we saw this week, or what we saw against, let's not forget, we also got humiliated at the Etihad as well. These are all culmination of the things that Carlo is not doing. It means that if the players do not rise to the occasion, he cannot perform.
Yeah.
He needs the players to play at an outstanding level, not at an average level. No, the players need to, similar to what we saw Benzema in the 22 season, what we saw last year from Vinicius Junior, Antonio Cruz as well, just to name a few. So this is, they are like all, how should I say, like he needs players to perform at an outwardly level, to perform at levels that is just impossible to maintain. Hence, then he's able to be the coach. And you're saying, why was he brought back as a coach? From my perspective, the only reason Carlo Ancelotti is the coach is because that he's not gonna. He wanted Harry Kane. Harry Kane went to Bayern Munich. He didn't say anything. He needed a centre back for the last 18 months. They didn't give him a centre back. He didn't say anything. Do you think Mourinho is a coach? And Mourinho would have walked. Even Zidane walked out of the door when he was not backed. This is just the thing. Like Ancelotti is the only one who would have stayed in this position. It's not about the fact that because he's the best coach available. No, it's because he's the one that's going to be a yes man for them. So when you say the board is being culpable, no, Carlo Ancelotti has not held them responsible. Hence the reason why they're doing the shit they're doing.
See, that is one part for sure. Like he's a yes man, and he would try to find out a way rather than want what he wants, like to say what he wants. But the other thing is, whatever he's given to him, he's still gonna make you win with that. Like the first part of what you're saying, the criticism is purely valid. Like he is a yes man. He's gonna get, he's gonna be one of those people who's gonna protect the club, yet, won't say that they have done me wrong. I think he won't back out like, say, what Zidane did, when the whole Ronaldo thing happened and Zidane resigned because he knew Ronaldo was leaving, whatever. But also, Ancelotti will give you titles. I'm saying, like, Ancelotti has this incredible high and then has an incredible low. There is no, like, see, the second season in 2015 also, when we lost, we were top of La Liga, we had a Christmas break and we went to play Dubai to play two friendlies. And we lost La Liga because of the injuries we sustained in those friendlies against Milan and whatever. And,
Yep.
and that semi-final also against Juve, we tried, but we didn't win and he was sacked. He didn't blame the board, because it is the way he is. But obviously the other fact is he's get you titles. And now I just feel the players have become way too comfortable, under him. They know what he's gonna do, what his coaching staff is gonna do, what they're gonna say. They're taking him too lightly. I even read articles where in the Spanish media it said the players were not following his instructions. The players have lost faith in him.
Well, actually, see,
If you
this is the thing.
lose,
I think, sorry for interrupting, but I just want to pinpoint here that I think for me personally, the reason why I have a big issue with Carlo working with this group of players is that when Carlo met Benzema, Cristiano, what's he called, Ramos, okay, let's remove Casillas from the equation anyways. Like when he met those group of players, those players were seasoned, experienced players. They already knew that irrespective of what Carlos says or does not say to them, they need to win absolutely. And that's the only thing that matters. They need to perform. But right now, what has Jude done in his life? What had Vinicius done in his life before he met Carlo? What has Rodrigo done in his life? Mbappe, maybe somehow you can say 50-50, but at least national team. But for the club, what has Mbappe done in his life? You look at this, what has Camavinga done in his life before he met Carlo? Similar to Chouameni. So they all came into this vibes and oh yeah, it's this, it's that. Like they're not killers, they're not animals, They're not like the Ramoses, the Cristianos, the Alonsos. Like irrespective of what happens, we know that we need to absolutely perform. And as you said, even when Carlo Ancelotti was sacked in 2015, I was like, this is so unfair. Carlo did not lose this title because he was bad. He lost this title, as you pointed out, because of the stupid friendlies we had to play in the middle of the season that got our players injured. Hence, if you remember, we had to play Chicharito as a number 9 against Atletico Madrid in the quarterfinals that season. We went to the semifinals. We were still like playing Ramos as a DM because we did not have a midfielder. And we lost that game. You understand? So you in those situations, you can put your hands up and say, there is nothing else Carlo could have done. But in this situation, bro, we lost because of Carlo. In this situation, we are out because of Carlo. We lost and we got hammered by Man City because of Carlo. We had to rely on Joselu's miracles because of Carlo last year. We had to rely on Benzema's miracles because of Carlo 2022. So this is the thing. I'm just saying like all of this. So It's not going to pan out all this. So now it's like a graphic, right? You win one Champions League moment of individual brilliance, you have a Ballon d'Or candidate. The next season, you don't have a Ballon d'Or candidate, you can't win jack shit. The next season, Vini is a Ballon d'Or candidate, you win the title. You don't have a Ballon d'Or candidate, you become jack shit. So next season, Kylian Mbappe becomes a Ballon d'Or candidate, we win again. So it's telling me that it's reliant on the individual performance of the player and not the tactical input that's been provided or not the coaching instruction that's been provided. So it means that even if I sit on the bench, I have the potential to win if I can give these guys a platform to perform.
No, man, that is there. That is like that. That is one criticism Carlo will always have. But tactically, also in the last 3 seasons, he has done a lot of things differently, man, that we led to a victory. Like you also like we are having the Ballon d'Or season, yes, but whole that Ballon d'Or season, Fede playing as a right winger, Vinny being preferred over Hazard and the other players that we had. It was his, like trust in Vinny that because if you remember, first game that he came in, the front three was Hazard, Benzema, and Gareth Bale.
Yeah.
Him trusting Rodrigo Vinny, is not like tactically has not done things. And also, like Sidlow mentioned one of our podcasts, like in the Champions League, he knew how to suffer and get the result out. Like against Man City, no other coach has got the better of Pep like he has with respect to results. You can't play better than Pep in any game or but this season, I think the challenge was way too high for him, and I think he has let it down. Obviously, injuries to be blamed, but I think the players, I think at a club, the whole identity that we had, right? Three seasons with the max a player like a manager would survive. And I think this is what happening with Carlo Ancelotti, I feel. Like the players are in that zone where you know that they won't get the blame. They will be protected. The whole media is going to be like, oh, Carlo out because you can't sack the 20 players there are. Like you said, Vinny should be out. That was the first thing you said, front three. Vinny has to be. If Vinny goes out, you get a striker. I think after a season, if the coach, whoever comes in, doesn't perform, you said, oh, probably Carlo would have done differently. But that is the whole aspect, complicated, say, shit that we are in. Like like it works both ways perfectly. Where Carlo is not doing well and he has done well, yet I am accepting this season against Arsenal he got it wrong. The whole season he has got it wrong. Like there are so many reasons for it, and I think as a club, I think they will seek for change. And this is why we hear names like Klopp, Xavi Alonso. But I don't know, man. Like whoever comes in, it's not gonna be easy for them. A new style. I just hope the players are in that zone where they see a presence where they feel they are like, he's the main guy.
So who's
I
who's
think
going to
right
be your
now,
choice then?
Mbappe,
Because it's very difficult to find someone like this
I,
at this point.
I
Who's your
said
choice?
it's my two choices are you either bring back Zidane or you get Jose Mourinho. I don't think any other club player like coach manages them. I don't see anyone like obviously Mourinho's out and out. He's gone and out. Zidane, I think, is the only player the players would be like, okay, oh, it's Zidane in the dressing room. Because these young players, probably Ronaldo, Ramos, and all, they probably knew what Carlo Ancelotti did as a player and then as a coach at AC Milan. These players, they remember like the 14th and the 15th, and then, oh, like, as Ancelotti is gone, he's going to dance. But players, I think, need somebody, like, oh, yeah, he's my coach. He has to do like somebody more like that presence, where you have to feel scared like, tactics or not, you need somebody who can manage these egos, these three players. And I feel, and in my opinion, also, like one of the big front three has to leave. So I don't know. Mbappe won't go. It's either Vinny or Rodrigo. Because, like, those two players not tracking back is a huge thing, man. And
Exactly.
Arsenal played as a team. The
Yeah.
Arsenal Kivio and Martin Lewis Kelly is getting the better of Mbappe, Vini, and Rodrigo, Fede, Jude. Man, come on, that's height. Like this was too embarrassing. And also players like there is a report by the Athletic where the players, I think, I think Guillermo, I think he wrote it, or the other guy who works at the Athletic. He said the players were also worried with respect to the build up to the second leg, where they did not receive adequate instructions tactically. So I think the players are in that zone where I think when Thibaut Courtois said this in the press conference, I knew the team is done. They need a new manager. And sometimes you just need a change. The players are the same. You just need a change. Like what happened with Mourinho, right? We knew he's going to win the Champions League. The whole fight happened. The players are the same. Carlo comes in and he wins. So
Yeah.
let's see, man. Like this is going to be an interesting summer transfer window. A lot to talk to the fans. And there's also like Jorge Valdano said in a press conference right now, is like not reaching the semifinals of the Champions League is breaking news for the world. That is the standards we have set. So
Yeah,
let's
that's
see,
very true.
man.
That's very true,
We'll be
honestly.
debating on the next manager also very soon. Probably you will be pro that person and I'll be against him.
Yeah,
So
I would not lie to you. Like, I do not envy anyone who's, going for the job. And I do think, considering the profile of the players that we have right now, and as you rightly said, I totally agree with you that it's going to be very difficult to find someone that's going to make these players believe. You understand? And that's the thing. Like, I just absolutely I don't want Carlo to be the coach. But then I sit back and I look and like, who's going to be the next thing? And I honestly tell you, I'm telling you, Sid, right now, and I do not think Carlo gets sacked. I think Carlo
yeah.
can, if Carlo, the game, May 11, pencil it down. I think after that game is when we can decide what happens with Carlo. That game against Barcelona, if Real Madrid wins that game, bro, it's game on. We win the title, Carlo stays. That
And
game,
yet,
May
if he does a
11,
double, if the
May
Copa
11.
del Rey and the Champ.
I'm not too sure about Copa, honestly, because I think Copa is just, it's there. I mean, if he wins the Copa, it doesn't change anything. I think his fate is sealed. But I do think that game against, May 11 against Barcelona, I think that's a game that, yeah, I think that's a game that will require a reaction, honestly. If Real Madrid wins that game, I think it's game on and we can win the league. And I think Barcelona, because they will have to play Inter, and we know Inter is they're a devilish team. Even if you beat Inter, you beat them by selling your soul to the devil. You understand? You have to like die
Yes.
physically, mentally. So I think that is going to take a toll on them when they play in the league as well. So we just have to get business done that May 11. If we can win that game, I think Carlos stays and we win the title. But then again, it's still, a long way to go, more or less. Um,
Okay,
Let me just quick.
one
Yeah,
second.
I'm just going to
One
read
second,
the
I'll be
chat.
back.
Okay.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
one
while
second.
he comes back, so I'm just gonna read the chat and talk about the fact. With Sisune here says, "Pick up the chat panel. Don Man is the seed admirer, bro. Like we all admire seed man. What's there not to admire?" And Sunil was talking about today's players can't just handle adversity. Tale of the times. And he said, "I saw it.
Mm.
It's cringe." Then we have also Sunil was talking about like Vasquez spoke to me, I think, in response to what Sid was saying. And he was saying that there won't be any hierarchy. Mbappe isn't good enough to be a Cristiano. We have to be in touch with reality. I mean, the point about the hierarchy is that it has to exist, even if they, I mean, of course, like Salah is not good enough to be Cristiano as well, but Mane is not good enough to be Gareth Bale, but still they had to find a way to create a hierarchy even between them. So there just has to be an hierarchy. It's not about the fact that Mbappe is Cristiano or not. Of course, we know nobody else can beat Cristiano. It's your football. So at least mentality-wise, talent-wise, no one can be, so it's just something else. Mbappe
You
won't
know,
be was in there. Sorry, go on, man.
no, I had this weird, I don't know, it's just a theory that I have that if last season Jude Bellingham was promoted as our player of the year and the Ballon d'Or candidate because he reached the Euros final, had an assist in the final, scored a lot of decisive goals, won, he was the La Liga player of the year, had an assist in the Champions League final. And if Vinny was, say, not the guy who was, say, put in as the face of the club for the Ballon d'Or, I think the situation would have been different. I think the whole Mbappe Vinny talk wouldn't have existed. It's just because Vinny was on the verge of a Ballon d'Or and we knew Mbappe is the best player in the world. So
Yeah,
that whole, if it was this part did not happen, it was Jude, then Jude would have been like, now you're a midfielder, go back. That it would have been the conversation. But I think as a PR, I think the club got it wrong. But it's just a theory, media guy, me trying to
yeah.
overanalyze things.
All right, so like Sunil also saying Mbappe wouldn't be a player who has the nerves to live up to the pressure because I honestly think it's way above what he can handle. Bro, look like he will just let the world swallow him. The whole pre-kickoff by Arsenal. I think that's very unfair because like I think Kylian Mbappe has stepped up for France big time in a lot of big moments. And I think saying that the pressure, I mean, I don't think there is a bigger game in the world than the World Cup final. And if someone can perform there twice, not just once, twice, it means that yeah, he can live up to the pressure. I just think like, of course, like I get what Sunil is saying about he got really comfortable at Paris and at Real Madrid right now. He's still not, I think he has still not understand. He has not yet gotten gripe of what the pressure of playing for Real Madrid means. What playing for Real Madrid means. He's still yet to understand, what the Cristianos and the Benzemas went through, and of course people before them. So I think he's still yet to understand what that means, like the pressure that comes with it, the leadership that comes with it, and so on and so forth. But I do think he will get there. I think Mbappe will get there. And about our striker, Sunil was saying, get Chris Wood. Chris Wood will
It's
not
good.
leave. He wouldn't leave because I think Chris Wood is just a couple of goals short of getting 20 for Nottingham Forest. So I don't think Chris Wood will not leave. And also, he just signed a new contract. I think Wood would not leave Nottingham. And about the squad, what we need, he was saying like we need a centre back, a left back, a proper DM, a creative 8, and a number 9. There you go, man. There you go. And we
Need a
have
plastic surgery.
basically that's the thing, Sid. Like we sit and we started this season, and I personally was like thinking that, bro, like this team, at least on paper, looks almost unstoppable. That was my feeling. I had this honestly, I had this feeling. Of course, but I know like guys brought me back. I think also you were one of them. I'm not sure, but I know like definitely we had this discussion with Mo where he said like absolutely not, that's not the case. And others also have always had their stuff, but I always felt like this team was invincible. But here we sit now and we're talking about a center back, a left back, a DM, a 8, a 9. That's like 5 out of 11 players, bro. Like that's 5 out of 11 positions, bro. Like that's crazy, So it's mad. It's mad. So we have
That's crazy.
Tenzil. Tenzil Khan is saying hi, Sid. He's saying like this channel needs to blow for the kind of content you're producing. Yeah, Tenzil, like you can help us do that. Just like, subscribe to the channel, spread the word among your friends. Try to give us a shout out here and there, and you can help allow the channel to blow. And Sunate continues by saying like wing backs are so critical. If we have a competent wing back system, MLS doesn't get to make those runs. That's very valid. We need to pin the opposition wings back constantly. We need to keep Vini. We need to keep all three. We just need to be smart about how we use them. If they're having a deep, bench them. So this is where the issue comes. I just think that Kylian Mbappe and Vinicius Junior are at the point, and even Jude Bellingham, they're at points that they're invincible. They might score 10 on goals, but they're not going to get taken off.
Man, also like at least Vinny has earned that, man. He scored 2 Champions League trophies in 3 years. So there is a reason why he's on the pedestal. Mbappe, I think, as a Real Madrid player, he has not proved it yet. Jude, I think last season, but Jude was the reason why we won La Liga last season. If he didn't get those last minute winners in the first 20-25 games, we did not deserve it. From like the first home game till Getafe till to Barcelona, the Clásicos. But Mbappe, I think the pressure, he is not understanding how the pressure is gonna be. Like it's not PSG where it's just the ultras, and then you have to listen to them. Here you open Facebook, Instagram, you random comments, random and people. I think it's also one of the greatest pastimes in the world is to shit on Real Madrid. Like
Yep.
because we want so much, like you enjoy it. Like when Arsenal won, I got messages from people I haven't spoken to in like 8, 9 years. I was like, how does that feel like? And I was like, it just feels like not qualifying for a semi-final, which your club is doing for the first time in 20 years. But I mean, it's enjoy to shit on, like, oh, Mbappe is not, all these Barcelona fans. I'm just in that zone where, why are you enjoying it? Like, you haven't won the treble yet. You might win it, you might not win it. Like, but, like, have you ever seen Real Madrid fans celebrating Barcelona getting knocked out? They got knocked out by Inter Milan 2 years back for the Europa League. Did we say anything? Florentino Perez was like, best of luck. This Laporta would be like, oh, I'll wear an Arsenal jersey. Like, this is extremes, but it's a it's just a weird thing, man. And next season, I'm telling you, it's gonna be very different. Like, it's hopefully should be different. Like,
Yeah. We
like
should, we
Perez
should,
should raise that. He should raise that stick in his hand, ready to beat up these players. It's like a strict Asian or an African dad. Like,
Yeah, man. But anyways, man, let's get back to stuff and quickly round this up. Let's just go a bit to the discussion on the game against Bilbao. So like Bilbao are fourth in the league, and we know that considering the wins of Barcelona, Real Betis, and Bilbao themselves. Spain is guaranteed a fifth Champions League spot next season. Right now, Bilbao are fourth. They're like 6 points ahead of Villarreal, who has a game in hand. So let's just say theoretically they're 3 points ahead of Villarreal. And they know that there's still a lot to fight for, with Real Betis also still on the heels of them both. So like we're facing Bilbao, and I'm trying to just paint the context that this is a team that has something to fight for, and they're having such a good season. They're just fourth behind the big three. You understand? So this is a game we go into, considering the form that we have been in, the whole shambolic team that we've had across literally the past 1 month. It's been really difficult. The past 1 month has been really difficult. Like we've taken batterings left, right, middle, center. The Champions League is done. The league is literally hanging on a thread right now, so there's no room for error. And then we're facing Valverde's and Ernesto Valverde's team, who are like coming off of the high of qualifying for the semifinals in the Europa League. Yeah, so like, what are you expecting to see in this game?
I mean, I didn't know that the fifth spot in La Liga is confirmed. I thought it went to the Premier League for the
No,
Champions League.
it goes to two leagues. Sorry, one is England. England confirmed
Oh,
this is the last round, and like this round we confirmed ours as
oh wow. So, man, the fact that, man, Bilbao has been really good this season, man. I think I've seen them a few times. I saw them against Atleti. I saw them against Getafe. Getafe or Leganes, I don't remember. Saw them against Rayo also. And right now, obviously, they have had like three goalless draws away. They did draw against Villarreal, which was they should have won. I think Villarreal ended up with 10 men, and then Rangers was one of them, and then I think they dropped points against Osasuna at San Mamés. But this season, there has been a style of play which is more effective. And then after winning Copa del Rey last season, they were much more in confidence. Like a trophy gives you that confidence to go on. And I think Champions League is what their priority would be right now. But also because the whole Europa League final is in San Mamés, and
well.
this one semi-final against the Man United that can do anything these days. To lose 4-0 to somehow score 3 goals, and I think their priority would be on that to win a European Cup at home is very less. I don't think any club has done that so far in life. I think Bayern was super close in 2013, but they lost to
Yeah, they
Chelsea.
lost. Yeah,
And I don't remember. I could be wrong. But man, it's like according to Spanish football history, they used to call it El Clásico Viejo, the old El Clásico, Basque
yeah,
region versus Madrid, and there'd be an intensity, and we lost to them at San Mamés. Remember, Mbappe missed that penalty, and I think that was their first victory in a long time. But if you don't see, like you mentioned, the Clásico against Barcelona is very important. That won't be important until unless we show a reaction against Bilbao. The
exactly.
team has to show a reaction, and like if we lose this or draw this, I think season's over. Like
Aye.
that, this is like it's like now the Champions League is out, Copa del Rey, the final, you have to play it like a final. But if you still want to keep up the pressure on Barcelona, because Barcelona have that space where they're playing Real Madrid twice, Inter Milan twice, and then there's a while always in between. So if whatever, like if somehow say Barcelona choke or they drop points here and there, and we go to the Clásico where we could change the tide of the league, you have to win this. And
Absolutely.
Ernesto Valverde is an old enemy.
Exactly.
So it is gonna be interesting, man. Players, obviously, if you want to see Nico Williams, I think he's gonna have a good ride if Lucas Vazquez is playing. I don't think Lucas Vazquez, with his all kids that he has, catches Nico Williams any day in a race. So he would be looking to damage whatever. I don't know what Carlo will be thinking. I think he has to start with that front three, but
Mbappe
I don't
is
know what
suspended.
what.
Mbappe is suspended.
Oh
They
yeah,
don't play.
Mbappe. Oh yeah, Mbappe. So I think I would love to see Hendrik start, to be honest. He's done really well in the Copa del Rey.
Yeah, this
Yeah.
this this is the thing I'm talking about though. Like, see, it's the fact that our team is so okay. Like, yeah, Mbappe's tackle was a tackle, yeah, but the issue is that like our team is so ill-disciplined that literally every other game, it's one player is out for suspension. Every other game, bro. The last game, the coach was out, bro. Now the star player is out, or like rather, the top scorer is out. So it's really crazy that we're talking about these games as games that must win. to remain in the title hunt. Because as you said, and I agree, if we lose, and the point now is that we've lost 3 games, we've lost 3 out of the last 6. Let's put that into context. We've lost 3 out of the last 6.
Yeah,
If
yeah.
we lose this, the title is gone and Carlo is sacked 100%. There is no doubt about that. So
I think they'll give him the Copa del Rey and then be like, how do you say hasta luego? Sorry, bye in Italian. Adios, ciao, whatever.
ciao.
Papa Perez will be like, ciao, Carletto.
Yeah,
Like,
grazie, but ciao.
grazie.
It's
But
gonna
and
be
also like
yeah, go on, man.
no, I was just saying like it also it will be it's a big game for like Bilbao because they dropped like points where they shouldn't have. So they know that Real Madrid are at a very vulnerable stage right now. And if they win here, practically top four is gonna get confirmed for not confirmed, but they'll be in the driving seat. Now it's for them to fuck it up so that Villarreal and Betis catch up.
Yeah.
So 6 point lead, like because I think Villarreal also they have a tough game ahead. Not this week, but I think this week they're playing Real Sociedad, but I think they are yet to play. I think if I'm not wrong, yeah. So they have Villarreal. They play Real Sociedad, and they have like tough away fixtures. They go to Balaidos, Celta Vigo, and then they are like facing all these relegation threatened teams where they could get a result. They're playing, I think, Leganes, and then one game before last game of the season is more they're playing Barcelona away.
Ooh,
So
yeah.
there are points, Villarreal, if they lose ground, I think if Bilbao get a result here, they'll be like,
Yeah. Yeah.
Arrivederci, as they say. So yeah,
It's gonna be crazy,
and I
and also
think,
because the first leg of the semifinals of the Europa League is not until the 1st of May. So like Bilbao doesn't have anything to do, in the week. So like they'll just give it their all this week. Sorry, this game week at the weekend, rest at the rest during the week, and then continue to play at the weekend, and then prepare for the game. So it's gonna be it's gonna be a challenge, as you said, and we started to talk about even the matchups. It's gonna be Nico Williams against Lucas Vasquez. I want Fede Valverde to go back to the middle of the park because we need balance. We need to, regain that. How should I say? We need to regain the momentum. We need to regain that confidence. By bring Dani Ceballos back, bring Fede Valverde back. Play Jude Bellingham there. Like, let's regain that kind of momentum. Let's regain that balance that we had. And because we need to stop this, this rot that's happened for the last month, and get our season back on track. The Champions League is the bread and butter for Real Madrid, but not winning it is not the end of the world. If we can, gather some momentum, make a run, I believe we can win the league. Absolutely, we absolutely can win the league.
yeah, and also like remember like the whole when Leicester won the league the season before, I think they went on to win like 6, 7, 8, or 9 Premier League games to escape relegation.
Yeah,
That is the momentum they got, and I think if like right now, if Carlo Ancelotti, say if Real Madrid, the whole board has the mind where Carlo still stays, or like you said, like who else but him? This is the perfect stretch of games you have, which has pressure involved. You have Bilbao, Barcelona up to play, which is 2 out of the top 4 in Spain. You can like try to put in a style of play, get in that momentum before the Club World Cup. That's also a trophy where like that could be decisive. Like if we win that, and like I say, if we win the Copa del Rey and the Club World Cup, and you are like, is it a good season or a bad season?
yeah,
You are in that zone now. You have like 2 out of the 4 trophies. Super Cup was there, so I don't know. And it knockout stage, anything can happen. And if I don't know, like Bilbao will treat it as a big game to play Real Madrid before you play Man United in the Europa League semi-final. I think this is the game where you can like literally feel pressure, Bernabeu, the race for top 4, and then it also can take it up as a game before the semi-final. And for us, it's more like, okay, what now? More like, can we show our character? Can we show what we have? We still have the fuel left in the tank,
yeah.
and it's like,
All right, so let's slowly round things up. Steve, so like, what would your lineup be for the game? At the Bernabeu against Bilbao.
I'm trying to like look at what's gonna be Courtois, Lucas Vasquez, Raul Asensio. I hope he's there. Rudiger. At least give Fran Garcia a run of games right now. He has 7, 8 games. He'll give Alaba much more rest. I don't think he wants to play either. Chouameni, Fede, Modric, I think, and then we get back that Jude in that spot and Rodrigo Vini up front. But if I were to see a change, I would like to see Hendrik start. Like, yeah, I think he did well against Arsenal when he came on, but it was too far too late, kind of a zone where. Yeah, but
Yeah.
I think he has a lot of confidence. That bicycle kick that he tried against Real Sociedad, man, I still don't have that out of my head. As just like this guy, this guy, like if he wants. And I think also the long term, I feel is gonna be Mbappe, Hendrik, who could be like say 2 seasons down the line would be two out of the front three if Real Madrid play like that. So there is a reason why Hendrik was signed by Perez this early. Or it could be like Martin Odegaard could leaves here and there, and then suddenly he's knocking us out after 7 seasons or something. Could be that also.
Yeah, that would be a full circle moment now. Anyways, man, let's slowly round things up. What's your predictions for the game? I go for the Real Madrid 2-0 victory.
Yeah, I also expect a reaction, but because we don't keep a clean sheet, I think it's gonna be a 3-1 because clean sheets are hard to get this season. We concede way too much. Thank God there's no Declan Rice in red this time. I think I am. It's but yeah, my
Yeah,
all
yeah.
these memes when the roof was on at the Bernabeu and people were saying, rice cooks better with the lid on top, and I was like, and then he gets the man of the match. I'm like, oh. Like Declan Rice, I'm telling you, when he scored those free kicks, I went on Twitter and I was like, he's never gonna score a free kick in his life. I am that confident. This is that, one moment people have in their
Exactly.
career.
Yep, yep, yep.
We're playing a
Well,
team in red and
speaking of memes, like I think like we have placed ourselves in a very meme-worthy position, and like Arsenal just finalized the final lane of the coffin. But yeah, we're gonna suffer a lot of memes from now till the beginning of next season, man. At least till we win the next Champions League, more or less. It's gonna be a lot of memes till then, more or less. But
nice man. What's out of the 4 teams, who do you want to win the Champions League? Should win the Champions League?
Inter, Simeone and Inter is what.
Inter.
Yeah, Simeone Inzaghi, crazy man, crazy man. I appreciate him a lot, man. I feel like he's super underappreciated in European football, but I think Simeone Inzaghi is next level stuff, though.
Man, same. I kind of see him managing at Real Madrid in the future. Like, yeah, I think if we need a coach which can work with a two-striker formation, right now in the world, there's only one, Simeone Inzaghi. He's gonna put Raul Asensio, Militao, and one centre back, whoever we have. Trent goes as a wing back, and then I don't know, like Jude as a number 10. And that guy made Kala Hognolo was a number 10 as a number
Exactly.
6, and he's fucking
Exactly.
great.
Yeah.
And I said,
So,
you won't expect great football, you get results.
and that's the thing, like, you would, I think it's when you say you wouldn't expect great football, it depends on the perspective you look at it from. The point about Inter is that you know what you're getting. Every player knows their position. Every player know what they need to do. And then hence you have stuff like you look at what's happening with Inter, like players just swap. Like it's like they're even playing, Bastoni as a wing back and playing, Bisek as a centre back because when their fullbacks are out, so it doesn't really matter who plays. They're like bringing in Zielinski is a good player, but like they're bringing in Zielinski, for Mkhitaryan when Mkhitaryan is out, and like you don't even see the difference. You understand? Like so, it's just like a
Yeah.
well-oiled machine is a system such that it doesn't matter who plays because the system is so well-oiled. As long as you're a decent player, of course. Like if you're not a shitty player, then you fit into the system and you move on. But I do think like a coach like Inzaghi might not work at Real Madrid.
Let's see. Like if Barcelona say build on to what they have right now, we'll need a bus parker again. So
Yeah.
possession intensity, you can always solve it defensively. So
Well, that's very true. But I
let's
would
see.
I would say it's not fair to also reduce like Inzaghi to be a boss Parker. Honestly, like I think there's been really really good games from Inzaghi, but I do get the point you're trying to make.
Yeah, like I'm just saying defensive
Yeah,
approach
yeah,
rather than
exactly,
labeling it.
exactly. Yeah, Sunil was saying Barca or PSG win it. Inter Arsenal don't think they have enough in them. Let's see, man. I'm really looking forward to the Barcelona Inter Milan game because I think it's like, as you were saying, like unstoppable object means, immovable force. So let's see
Yes.
and I do think like, Barcelona might be giving a rude awakening, bro, because I think a lot of people underrate what Inter can be, you know. So I do think when we go into that game, a lot of people will be like, holy God, like what did we just watch?
Yeah,
Kind
yeah,
of a
yeah.
game,
And
so
also, and they have a lot of goals in them also. To score
exactly.
what, four against
Exactly.
Bayern is not easy.
And also,
It's
they're those kind of people that don't miss penalties, man. That's the crazy thing. Like, Chalanoglu does not miss, man. Like, Chalanoglu is a really good penalty taker. Zielinski, Taremi. Lautaro is the one that's not really good, like, but they have, like, really good penalty takers, man. So that's also something, that could
yeah,
come in handy. That's something that could come in handy as well. And let's not forget, like, how did we lose the game? We lost the game based on two free kicks. They have arguably one of the
yeah, yeah,
best free kick takers in Europe in Chalanoglu, man. So a foul by Barcelona, one free kick goal, and no one there, Barcelona is not going to score. If they make that
yeah,
mistake
yeah,
of letting Inter score first, Barcelona is not going to score. It will take
yeah,
something
yeah.
more
And that
for
is uh, for me. I think whoever progresses from that side of the bracket, I think wins the Champions League. But PSG, I feel again are in that zone where they won the league, so they're gonna take back. Maybe different with Luis Enrique, but they don't have. I feel Arsenal PSG is gonna be good, interesting, but I don't see say both of them reach the final, and I don't see like say PSG breaking Inter or like outscoring Barcelona. I don't see Arsenal also like breaking Inter or outscoring Barcelona. But I could be wrong. But I feel like Barcelona and Inter, whoever progresses goes on to win it.
Yeah, it's interesting because like we have actually a bracket of treble winners. Like, Paris is chasing a treble, Inter is chasing a treble, Barcelona is chasing a treble. So, Arsenal are the party poopers more or less. So let's see, like, if we had gone through as well, we would have also
Arsenal is
been chasing a
also
treble as well, unfortunately. But yeah,
Ars-
yeah.
Arsenal is also chasing a treble, man.
What treble are they chasing?
Yeah, qualifying for the semi-final three times in their career. That is a treble in itself. I told Don Robbie, we need the 16th, and he's like, "Can you shut up? We need one." I was like, "Oh, what can I say?" Like,
Yeah. Anyways, man,
but,
let's we can call it a day unless you have anything to add. Um.
yeah,
All right. So
I'm
like
good.
yeah, that's all, folks, from us. Thank you for keeping us company. We had Sunaid, we had Tenzil Khan as well. Thanks for engaging with us, and for those listening on the audio as well, you can join the party. By joining our live streams. Just go on YouTube and you can see when we schedule the lives. And yeah, don't forget to share and distribute the news about the channel. Share the like. Click on the like buttons, the subscribe buttons, and shout out also to our partners at Real Madrid Committee. They're like on Instagram. Just the description to their account is in this. The link and description to the account is in description below. So just give them a shout out, and like they make a lot of great fun arts and write ups about Real Madrid. So you can just give them a look. And without further ado, we say Hala Madrid.